Hello there, guys, and welcome back to week 11 of the weekly podcast. And today, we got something very special for you. First and foremost, we have my favorite gay person because I love him a lot, being Greg.
Oh, what's up, NPO? Yo, what's going on, NPO people? It's Greg Yellett. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Simply fantastic.
I was just like, that's the sound I wake up to every morning.
You just said he was your sister.
It's the sound of regret.
Regret. He's just gone, not another white woman. And then next up we have our favorite SBN, aka the Say. What was it?
Say Birb's name.
Say Birb's name. That's exactly right. Say Birb's name. That's what the women say. And also someone who you should subscribe to, so me and Greg can start paying him out about only having 281 subscribers. Lol, with that being Hera Knight.
Hey guys, it's me, Hera Cross Knight, the next big Poketuber on the block. Go subscribe to me, get me to 300 subs. Yay.
And
I like Pincer better.
No, I'm gonna change my channel to Pincer. Alright, I'm doing it right now. Mid-podcast. Mid-podcast, I'm doing it.
Just to get Greg's subscription, you're gonna change it there. As always, we are the most unscripted, most idiotic group bunch of people. Well, I am, not so much the other two. They are amazing.
You hear that? That's my script in the background.
Trash. Straight to the trash.
Straight to the trash. It's just like owning a FC Porto jersey. Belongs in the trash.
Oh, yeah, damn right. I mean, I'm quite idiotic as well because English is not my first language, so I say loads of fucking stupid stuff. So hey, it's fun, right? It's for you guys' entertainment. Hope you enjoy it.
I don't know what my excuse is because I still.
You're drunk most of the time.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's a good one.
I mean, who wouldn't be drunk after watching these week of NPL games?
I mean,
my God.
I mean, these games were spicy to say the least. First and foremost, the salty vegan, apparently salt does not come from an animal. I learnt yesterday, so he can have it. The salty vegan being Toga Hall against the BBC King Iron Flash Gaming. Now, this game really did prove one thing: vegans do not eat sausage. In fact, they give the sausage, and you know what? Zazo just thought to himself, "I'm not gonna win this game." He just didn't seem in it. He still doesn't know his type effectiveness chart. He still thinks that multi-attack fighting will be a Venusaur. Stay tuned next week when we see what other stupid type charts exist due to Zazo. Really not much to be really said about this game. Togue just went in there and, like most people, had an inborn need to dominate. Unfortunately, Zazo was the dominated one. Unfortunately for his change, it was not his kink. He just, momentum seems to go back and forth, but Togue always seems in control. Like, the Z move, Shattered Psyche, was a cool bring. I think Ice Punch would have been probably better for the Zygarde, but who knows what Togue was prepping for. Probably for that Hera Cross Knight, because that is the second best Mega in the game after Pinsir. Because Mega Pinsir won an NPL championship.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. It just seemed to be a bit like Alarios. It seemed to drag, and Zazo just tricked him the Choice Scarf to speed the game up. So that was the first game of the week. Then next up we had Mama Jolt against Riz. Was that my game or was that someone else's?
That's actually my game. That's Gregulator's game. And so we have Mama Jolt and the Toronto Star Raptors, team of Lopunny, Nido, Thunderous, Azumarill, Metagross, Ferrothorn, and Rizzy Pow.
This is Rizzy Pow.
Kangaskhan, Hit Powdon, Tornadus, Serena, Dragonite, Hera cross night. Ha. Ha.
I'm sad because
Anyways.
the two teams that have Heracross and Mega Heracross on their roster lost. That makes me sad.
You know, that is unfortunate
Wow,
because, you know, Rizzy bringing the Heracross, though, is, I mean, it's on the graphics on the screen. They can tell that Rizzy lost. And, you know, harboring back to NPL season, 5 days? Rizzy going to be taking the L, eliminated from playoff contention. Unfortunate for him. But, you know what? Mama knows best. And Mama's prep this week was phenomenal. Oh, my. If you saw Mama Jolt's team builder, you would have known that Jolt called a lot of the sets that Rizzy would have brought to this match, like the Fire Blast Mega Kangaskhan with the Rock Slide, the Tornadus Bring, and, you know, he just nailed a lot of, like, Riz's team before the game even started, which is just, you know, kudos to Mama Jolt. She's been around the block for almost, you know, mothers these days. They start out young, but they've been around for a while. But Jolt with just some phenomenal prep this week. He got up to a little shaky start, missing play rough and whatnot. But, I mean, there's only so much you could do in a game like let's see, the Thunderous versus Tornadus exchange. He got a little lucky. I'm not sure actually if Riz intended for his Torn to be that low speed, but Jolt did get the outspeed on that end. Calling the moves that the Kangaskhan would go for, just like he's been doing this Mama Jolt's been doing this all her life. It's just fantastic. In retrospect, getting up the Toxic Spikes really helped break down the Hippowdon this weekend. Mama Jolt just getting a lot of the 50-50s right in this match. Understanding what a young Riz was going to do. Riz has a long way to go if he wants to be the greatest Indian YouTuber in Pokemon history. So
he'll become Mama Riz at one point, I believe.
At one point, and then at that point, Jolt will be a Grandmama Jolt. But until that day happens, you know, Riz has a lot of things to worry about. The awareness Jolt had in this matchup, I just really want to point it out. It's going to do him very well as far as that player, and if he can win next week, or, you know, the RNG rolls in his favor as far as seeding goes. I think Jolt's really going to have to rely on his awareness for having a nice deep playoff run this week. Anticipating Rocky Helmet, knocking that off with the Ferrothorn, preserving win cons. Not a very sexy way to win, very calculated and aware way to win. And that's what I really like about the Toronto Raptors this week. What do you guys have to say?
I just want to point out that Hippowdon dropped so fast to that last resort. I just think that was a very cool gimmicky set because it could have, like, came to bit him in the ass. But, yeah, that Hippowdon dropped to last resort, so that was kind of cool to see.
Exactly. But did you see him preserve the last resort? He had one opportunity to last resort something. I forgot what it was. And he decided to hide it and preserve it for when he needed it the most. And when he needed it the most, it came out, and I was just like, oh God, when Mama brings out the big belt, how do you respond? Oh God.
Mama just have experience in this type of situation. So yeah, that was definitely very, very well played on Jolt's part.
Yeah, definitely. Mama just putting her dick on the table and just putting her children in place.
I mean,
okay.
Interesting choice of words.
But I'm just gonna name this title. The one time I felt uncomfortable in conversation. That's gonna be the title. This is like YouTube clickbait. Next up, we had the Jersey Dwimbles versus the Baltimore Braviaries.
Braveries.
So
I don't know why Trev and Blake spell their team names differently. Did they want to stand out from each other? Is that why? Or is one very correct grammatically and the other one is just like, oh fuck, I don't care.
Trev is from Texas, and they speak a different language there.
No,
I guess that makes sense.
That's because Blake doesn't want to be confused as a two-time NPL back-to-back champion. I mean, who would want such a prestigious award like that, man? That's nothing. And think about all the extra work you have to do. Like, you win 2 championships, and the way you're rewarded is you have to put up with 12 blokes that you probably don't want to speak to every week, and you've got to deal with them, especially that Birb kid. He does my head in, that kid. He's such a WWE boo. Like, man, I'd hate to But
he does love his WWE.
Him and Matty Brolick, they're WWE boos. So this game was definitely an interesting game because just like when The Undertaker lost to Brock Lesnar, not many people saw this result coming. It looked like a very, very even game, but Mr. Stab, Mr. B's Knees was definitely very influential in the match, I don't know if you've ever watched that one episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I think Master Marek makes them play with people instead of the duel monsters. This is how that was. Huh? Weeb? What do you mean? Yu-Gi-Oh's not...
I've never watched an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! In my life.
Huh? Yu-Gi-Oh, bro? That's not Weebio. What are you on about?
What are you talking about? I watched it in English. I'm definitely not a weeb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we should make an NPL podcast week 12 just dedicated to Yu-Gi-Oh.
and in Japanese.
Yo, comment down below some deck list for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links because I'm having difficulties.
So you know, like it was definitely going back and forth. The Ninja Turtle could not beat the Bee. Bee's knees yet again, proving why he deserves to stab people. And then my boy Stab at the end with the anal beads came through. He loves that Taurus thing, man. But it came through, and then Mama Jolt flipped it out, slapped it down, and put that man in his place. Next up, we had Danza v Maddie. I can't remember who was taking that one.
I guess that was you because you just took my game, but...
Oh, okay.
Yay! Yeah, like you said, we suck at scripting.
One thing, psych up Alakazam.
Yeah, which one do you want to cover? The staged one or the real one? To me, the staged one is so much better. I just want to live in my dreams, man.
Wait,
that
Hera,
was just a fairy tale.
Hera, what do you mean? What do you mean the stage one? The first one always counts. The second one was to appease the masses.
All right, I'm good with that. I'm definitely good with that. I mean, in the first game, Maddie got swept by that Mega Alakazam. And the second game, he got super unlucky, and that Excadrill got like 20 flinches in a row, wasn't it? Yeah. So he ended up taking the L anyways. But yeah, one was to absolute dominance from Danza, the other one was from... Aaron had flinches. They're fun.
Yay. And then next up, we had potentially game of the week being Gypsy King, aka the Sydney person, against Brisbane BRELOOMS, aka April 4th, aka colonialism. And we learnt today that native title will always beat colonialism. That's what we learnt this week. The Englishman living in Australia just had to learn the ways of the Aussies, and the boy Gypsy came through in a very, very close 1-0. This game really did come down to everything, man. I think that this is probably game of the season so far. These games have been getting really, really hyped. Not because of the fact it was State of Origin Round 2, and that's great because no one will understand that reference, except for the 3 Aussies that watch this podcast. But
yeah, I'm lost. I'm lost.
He's lost. He's lost.
You're speaking weeaboo to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, but we learned one thing in the words of Ricardo. Toxapex is unbreakable and the best Pokemon in Sun and Moon.
Don't you mock my Portuguese brethren?
Huh? That's not a mock. I'm just saying the words from God. I'm just saying if you watch Ricardo, you are effectively a prophet because you're speaking to a god. But I guess how I see how it is, Hera. You don't want to recognize the king, but you know, we saw Ricardo on one end ghosting Gypsy King, and we saw Aberforth on the other end. And like this game saw some cool text. Subdarmanitan, DD, Tyrantrum was definitely, it came down to an Aurora Veil turn, and unfortunately, the T-Spikes, it was really just decided by turn 2, as both coaches have both said. If Abe went for a spin, it was close game. If Abe not go for a spin, it would become even closer. And it was definitely a great match to watch because there's definitely some cool text, and it was just a game that came down to inches, and unfortunately, Gypsy just had an inch.
I just really, really liked the Infernape set. It was like a mixed Infernape with like Vacuum Wave and Earthquake and all that type of stuff, and I was like, oh my god, that's such a Gypsy-esque set, man. I just loved it, and it ended up like being the deciding factor because it did pick up 4 kills, so that's a lot of kills, and Gypsy got that narrow 1-0 win. But yeah, this was definitely a beautiful game to watch. If you are new to League format, then this is a game that you need to watch, both prep and play, because it was absolutely fantastic. So if you haven't done so, go do it.
dude, almost anybody can get anything out of watching this match. You can learn so much, whether you're an experienced veteran like Mama Jolt or just starting out on your little adventure in this world of Pokemon. You can definitely get a lot out of this game.
I think the other thing too is in terms of battling ability, I think Abe and Gypsy would both be top 5 battlers in League format. And what I mean by battlers per se is that there's always 3 elements to Pokemon: 1, drafting; 2, prep; 3, battling. And Abe
You're forgetting about the biggest one of them all, hacks.
Hacks. Sorry, but that comes down to battling, and that's where Trevor excels. But, like, in terms of battling wise, Abe is regarded as one of the best Ubers players. I don't know how far it is up, but I know that Abe is the type of guy that would take rock, paper, scissors as a life or death match. So he probably takes Ubers 10 times more serious than he does League play. But I've seen the way he plays Ubers. He was very unlucky to miss out on SBL, in my opinion. And you have Gypsy, who is another one of those guys that recently won a Sun and Moon Cash Tour. Is definitely another player that's on the brink of SBL. Him and Top Tier Boy are definitely on that brink. And when you have like a Top Tier Boy versus Abe, or an Abe versus Gypsy, or an Abe versus Zaza, or an Abe versus Maddie, those guys who are really, really just battling, just very, very solid. Like 9 times out of 10, that turn 2 play of going for Earthquake would have worked against any other opposition. But being someone like Gypsy, it just didn't work, and you just saw the offensive pressure that was put on. And those are the sort of 50-50s that I think any player can learn from.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with you, Birb. You speak the words of the truth.
And next up, we have the Memes and Dreams against Trev. Who had that game?
Oh, that was me, and boy, wasn't this a fantastic game. Basically, Merc had it up until the last 3 turns, and then Merc did it again. He choked. He choked the game away. And he lost 1-0 to Trev, so now his playoff hopes are bye-bye because Shadi did lose. Spoilers. So, if we won out the season, then he would have made it playoffs, but he lost this game to a choke. So that was very, very unfortunate. I'm not going to say what the choke was. I just guess you're just going to have to go check that out because Merc knows. I mean, everybody knows because I was watching Trev's live com because it did live com the game, and even Trev was very, very surprised at the end because he was like, is he choking the game away? Is he choking the game away? All he needed was to pull a hard switch into Keldeo, and the game would have been his, and probably playoffs as well. Sucks to see someone choke one game away, and that means that he's out of playoffs. But that's just how competitive the NPL is. You can't afford to lose any game. Like, you can't afford to choke at all, because if you do, then you're going to miss out on playoffs like Merc is going to miss out. So that sucks. But yeah, that's pretty much the match in my eyes.
I will say, the vegans do not choke. And Merc is not a vegan, so
put 2 and 2 together.
Not suggesting anything, but
I mean, what does I think Merc after this match was just you doing his favorite Mia Khalifa quote.
Oh my god!
One of us.
Oh Jesus Christ!
And then next up we had the Bayern Munich. Oh my god, I got it right second time against the Chicago Bears.
It's the Bayern Bayleafs. Shadi changed his team name to alliteration because those are his favorites.
Because he did say on Twitter publicly saying, "Oh, alliteration names are the best. You should change them all." So the NPL has made an executive decision and changed his own name to the Bayern Bayleafs. So yeah, that's how we refer to him from now on.
All right, so you may as well cover that match, Mr.
Fine, I'll do it. Okay. So we have the Chicago Bears against Bayern Munich. Razor did not play. Danicki subbed in for him, and Danicki managed to beat Shadi. So that's a pretty impressive win. So the game was very, very back and forth. Shadi managed to set up T-spikes. And then after that, it was just like punch for punch. Like the coach just only clicked offensive moves. It was like, all right, I knock out a Pokemon, then he comes in and knocks out one of my Pokemon. There was one turn right there was resist berries galore, which was absolutely beautiful. I'm sure Toge really enjoyed that moment right there. Scizor having the Aqua Berry and Gardevoir having the Babiri Berry. Gardevoir lived, managed to take out the Scizor, and then Mega Houndoom came in, and Gardevoir took another hit, knocked out that nice and Mega Houndoom. But in the end game, Heliolisk was scarfed and just cleaned out the game with Thunderbolt against the Manaphy and the Tornadus. Shadi did make a couple of interesting plays at the end because he went for like Calm Mind and then Rain Dance all in front of a Heliolisk, which I guess he didn't really have much to do because Dynasty was probably water absorbed, so going for Skull wouldn't really help anything. So I don't really think that was anything that Shadi could do. But yeah, Dynasty picking up the 2-0 win with the nice and Heliolisk cleaning up the game, late game, killing the Tornadus T and the Manaphy. If you guys want to add anything on the game, feel free to, because that was super quick. I'm not used to it.
Neither mind.
All right, no?
No. And next
I'm
up,
proud of myself. I
next
did it
up,
without choking.
next up had the Vancouver Stealth Rocks against Seb, and this was probably upset of the season.
There's a lesson to be learned for people who play too much Smogon OU. Look at you, Sebastian, top tier boy. There is this thing called the Carney tier. I'm not sure if we understand what the Carney tier is, because not a lot of coaches opt to take Carney tier Pokemon. But your boy Carney Hobo, the innovator of the Carney tier, decided to bring some Carney sets this week. And if you don't know what a Carney set is, it is just so out there that it's just going to throw you off guard. And we don't really have to talk about this match too much in detail, because essentially the first 75% of this match is just Sebastian keeping up momentum defensively and offensively with Gliscor and Amoonguss and pressuring out Carney's threats like consistently throughout the entire match until we get to like the last 3v2. Essentially what's going to happen is Sebastian gets rid. There's a double down, right? I think between or not necessarily a double down, but the Mega Bayonet goes down to a Toxic, and we have Gliscor in as that happens. So he's going to bring out the Tapu Bulu, which was shown earlier in the match to be Choice Scarf, and Carney's going to make a nice double and go out into the Heatran, predicting the Volcarona, and I think Volcarona was the right play at that point in time, because what we've seen is, the Amoonguss needs to be healthy, because the combination of the Earthquake plus Hidden Power Ground from the Amoonguss can take out the Heatran if it's kept in check. And so Volcarona can also snag a burn on the Tapu Bulu, which helps out the Gliscor, helps out everything else. So you might as well do it, right? Because you can just get off Hidden Power Ground there or wherever you are. And then Carney pulls out Flame Charge Heatran, and it just completely throws Sebastian off his guard, because he's got his Volcarona in against a Heatran with a little bit of bulk investment, and the Hidden Power Ground does not kill. The Heatran goes to +1 speed, and then essentially what happens is you lose to Heatran with Hidden Power Ice, Fire Blast. And that's actually something I want to touch on with what Bird mentioned earlier, that those plays that people are anticipating, some players are making those reads, like what you saw in Gypsy versus Abe. But in this match, it was really just is Flame Charge Heatran too out there to predict? I want to get your guys' opinions on that at that point in time, because Carney mentioned in his commentary, if Sebastian Quiver Dances, he wins. But from my perspective, even before I saw Sebastian's commentary, I also would have just Hidden Power Ground there, because at what point do you expect Heatran to have that much speed? Like, what do you guys think?
It's Carney, so it's like Carney is like a box of surprises, man. You never know he's gonna pull out. Like, he can make the most dumbest play ever, like sacking his Conkeldurr, his win condition, or he can either be a Lord for a couple of seconds and make I won't say call it a god tier play, because that's like Flame Charge Heatran isn't like the most wild set out there, but it's definitely kind of wild. So I can see why Seb didn't really expect it. Like you said, I would probably go for HP Ground as well.
Yeah.
But Carney just managed to catch Seb off guard, and that flame charge did come in clutch. So it's like what I said. Carney's a box of surprises. You never really know what to expect. So you just attack what's in front of you, and he got the flame charge off. And it, from an entertainment point of view, it was pretty neat to see. But I'm sure Seb got really.
I think
yeah.
I think the funniest thing about this is that you guys are saying you did not see this coming. I saw this flame charge heat train coming because I mocked Carney twice, and I
Oh well, that's perfect.
Well, that's cheating.
Maybe I should. Sebastian should mock Carney next time.
Yeah, you'll know. Scouting.
No,
Hashtag
but
scouting.
okay, well, let's. Okay, so you're going back to this stage of what stage does flame charge heat train come a threat? All right, are we going to discuss this? So when you look at Sebastian's team, in terms of the mons he brought, the fact that there's no Slowbro definitely favors Carney because heat train could never break Slowbro. Every time I mocked Carney, there was a Slowbro, and he couldn't break Slowbro with the heat train. And the other heat set, I don't know if he still had it, was Worry Seed on the Credilli just to beat the Gliscor, which I thought was such a cool tech because there was one stage where I left my Gliscor in for about 8 turns, and he goes to a Worry Seed with Credilli, Gliscor takes 64% for poison damage. I was just like, that is such a cool tech. No, but
Jesus
that was
Christ.
just another Lord bring by Carney. But I think it's just one of those things that the flame charge heat train, although he wasn't expecting it, because again, it's not a traditional Smogon set. It's one of those things that it worked because Carney got rid of the threats and Seb didn't see it coming.
Okay.
If Seb saw...
No, continue.
Yeah, go.
No, but if that's the case, even if you do anticipate the flame charge, do you quiver dance or what's your play at that point in time? Because you got
Empire Ground should, in theory,
he did
knock
the
out the
cuts,
heat train.
minus a little bit of bulk, which Carney did tend to bring or did have. He anticipated this heat train to be gone, but if you quiver dance on this heat train, anticipating flame charge, and he pulls out Ancient Power or Stone Edge, your Volcarona's gone, and you can't get the damage off on this heat train at that point.
That's a 50-50, right? So we
Right, it's a 50-50.
It's one of those things. It comes into a lot of matches. We see lots of 50-50s like that. But I think we spent a lot of time on this. So now to quickly recap the Miners game. So I'm just looking at the time, bro, and I think we've really been going for about 30 minutes without all.
That's fine.
27. I mean, that's
the
still
only thing
way
you need
better.
to know about.
That's still way better than
The
me
only
and
thing you need
Greg
to know
can
about
do.
NPL Miners is Little Rob.
Little Rob.
Little Rob.
Hera's just said
all right, Birb, guide us.
The mystical world that is where where I should be living at the moment, except I'm still in the realms of the analyst team. But first up, we have
The GPA analyst job us against the Anaheim Altarians.
So pretty much what the Miners is we've just sent them to Dual Kingdom this week. They have to get their 5-star ships to be able to play Pegasus, and Pegasus is Little Rob because he's demolishing people. But Jabros against the Anaheim Altarians this week. I think this was the first week that Ace at Base won. I think as well the Flame Orb Melodic was very, very good. That was a great set. He brought it in at the right time. There was nothing really that Jar could do to sort of pressure it. And even when it got to +3 Kabalion, it was still only doing 66%, which that was just such a cool bring. It killed essentially 2 mons. The mascot, the Mega Altaria, but the Metagross, it just seemed to everything just worked, especially that Birb, because Birb is the best. Birb, I'm pretty much.
Yeah, if you name a mon Borb, it's destined to win.
Both teams that have a mon named after me this week won. So conspiracy theory, I don't know.
Yeah, and both teams that had Heracross and Mega Heracross lost. I don't like where this is going.
And yet, no one has a Pokemon named after me.
I know that.
That's too
It's
powerful.
actually been suspect text to Greg because she nearly beat Gypsy one time. It's never allowed. So the Ace of Base came up trumps with his Mega Metagross and the Burp, but that Melodic set pretty much won the game. Magic v.
Yeah, that melodic set was kind of hot indeed.
Now, Little Rob against Magic, and unfortunately, Little Rob knew the magician's secrets. He's been watching that show on Fox 8 for about the last 3 years. He knows what the magician's secrets are. And the Rufflet came, and the Rufflet died.
It died on one.
Can we just take a moment? Like, let's take 1 moment of silence to remember that Rufflet. It's just that was.
I don't know what shot died or what.
Oh, I'm sure Shoddy was so happy. Was so happy on Team Preview.
I don't know what he cried over. Lam going to retire or Rufflet dying, but it came a real Kimono fest, and then Little Rob couldn't hit a hurricane to save his life, and that was just he's been but like that baton pass scissor set was pretty hot. You got to give him that, And then when Magic's like, "Can you just hit a hurricane? I'm sick of this axe," and he gets the confusion axe. It was just that was my favorite part.
This game was definitely something special. Like, I didn't know Hurricane was like 30% accurate now. Or either that or Aloma Mole is just swiftly dodging all of them. I don't know
like
how.
The lobster was cool. Like, the Kimono just could not, it didn't beat the Torn. The Torn came in. I don't know what HP it was. I think it was HP, maybe Psychic. No, I don't know. Oh well. And like the Hermit just winning, and Little Rob yet again taking out another big victory. Next up, we have the Fog on channel against Eating the Bee's Knees, and Fog was bringing his Chansey deck, and Bee's Knees brought his Trick deck, and the Trick Chandelure really just broke the team that for Wish Offense. So for those who don't know what Wish Offense team is, it's pretty much you have sort of 3 or 4 really offensive mons, and you have to keep wishing them back up. The fact Adam didn't bring Goth, I thought was a really questionable bring, because when you look at the makeup of both teams, if Adam doesn't bring Goth, Chansey can freely wish and like stall out shit. And I think the main issue with this game was Fog played Chansey. I think I think his better play was maybe trying to go into 8 first and try to see what he wanted to do, because although 8 was a good mod, it wasn't as important as Chansey. That's really what undid Fog this game. Unfortunately, that's the way it was. Next up, we had would you like fries with that? What a gay title name by a gay coach by the weeaboo himself. Look at that weeaboo icon right there being TTM Bird against the fries. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you're not a weeaboo. You get targeted by the weeaboos, and that's what happened this week, guys. I think I would not be surprised if the police rocked up at Verd's door tomorrow and said, "You've been cyberbullying again on the internet," because this game was not fair. A lowland muck, in the words of Gypsy King, is a god. I hope I didn't misquote him on that. But this game was very, very interesting. The fact that Mega, I think it was physical Mega Charizard, if I remember. No.
Well, he didn't. He did intend to bring Mega. That's the funny thing, because I helped him build a little bit, and his initial plan was to bring a physical Mega Charizard Y with with substitute to be able to live so Toxapex couldn't break the subs or anything. But then he decided that it was going to be too hard to get off because he had a Gliscor. Turns out Verd doesn't bring Gliscor. And if he brought the Zard Y set, like a physical Zard Y, then he probably wouldn't have gotten 6-0'd. It would really depend. I think Verd had Poison Jab on his Toxapex regardless, so I don't know how much it mattered in the end. But I'm pretty convinced that it wouldn't have been a 6-0. Oh, you didn't watch. Basically, he put Sludge Wave twice. Yeah. Fries is a dummy. He's a dummy doofus.
Definitely,
doofus.
I think what made Verd's team very, very strong was the dual speed. So having some fast threats like Mega Skeps, then having some slow threats. The Trick Room aspect was pretty cool. The workup Staraptor was pretty cool. And then the Rapper Slapper unfortunately lost to Bailey. And the WWE won effectively a 6-0 due to some mishaps. Next up, we have Daniki versus Shardy round 2, and Daniki this week was proving why weeaboos need to be exterminated because they are overpowered. They've been watching Daniki at the moment's a main character, and he's using his main character bullshit powers, and that's what happened this week. You know, he only needs 2 more starships, and he's in to play Pegasus. That's going to be fun. But you know, the pursuit play by Tome was pretty cool to see. The tiny wizard, you know, it was just the nasty plot. Togekiss. It was definitely cool to see, but I don't know how I feel about it because I think it was a real like 50-50. Like if Tone went out into his Scarf Tar on the from the Conk, it could have been a very different game because Conk did wall certain aspects of his teams, and then you know, I think as well the only other misplay on Tone's end was not going for the ancient power boosts, because if you've ever watched the Verge, you just know that you need ancient power boosts to win. Next.
Yeah, Z ancient power is inferior to.
And then
regular
you know we had
power
Uzi
'cause
versus
no
Ash Nakai. That was another interesting game. The other WWE Abu got beaten by a Roma fan, so Toddy must have been blessing him, knowing that Toddy's going to end his season at the end, his career at the end of the season. Same thing. But you know, like it just seemed apparently another item mishap, which was very, very unfortunate. But you know, it was definitely an interesting game there. You know, it just seemed to me that like Ash Nakai just seemed the rocks were a lot better, and like the Shattered Psyche, you know, to kill the Venu and things like that. The text that he brought just seemed to work. Let me check to see if I'm missing any games, because I do not believe I am missing any.
You didn't cover the Tampa Bay Luxuries.
Oh, that's right. That really wasn't a
Young
game.
Portland.
That was just McGinnis just absolutely neck dropping. I just recommend watching. I recommend it's pretty much just watch Mono's fight. But the other thing too is I don't know who forfeited, but someone I think Sky forfeited v Asta. And also the only other bit of minus housekeeping is unfortunately due to some really unfortunate like in IRL stuff that has happened to Clover, he had to drop out, and I know the NPL itself is really, really saddened by the reason that Clover had to leave, and he was a real integral member to a lot of the boys as a friend. He's still on the server, but I want Clover to know that he's been a great guy to a lot of us. He's been a great friend. We love having his company. It's a shame to see him drop out. And I hope God blesses him, because he deserves, he deserves God's blessing. And we are very fortunate to have someone of the caliber of Adam Zabi's knees coming over to replace Clover in these unfortunate times. And Bees Knees, I wish you the best of luck for the season, man. You earned your spot as the first alternative. You have an opportunity to prove yourself why you deserve that spot, man. Take it with both hands, man. And yeah, and that's the only real. I think that's it for NPL this week. So thank you.
I think
I
it
think
is.
so too.
And as always, guys, thanks for watching. First and foremost, if you have not already, subscribe to my good friend Hera. He is currently 19 subs away from reaching 300, man. And you do not know how much it would mean to me to see my buddy go well. I've known this guy since he had about 100. It'd be great to see him hit 300. And definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, the NPL channel itself, I believe, is just past 250. I'd be great to see by the end of the season that we hit 300, as unrealistic as it is. Definitely hit that subscribe button down below. And as always, if you haven't already, check out my good friend Greg. He's definitely an integral part of the community, doing a lot of great things for the NPL and the GBA, which definitely shows the caliber of class and class of a person such as himself. And as always, I've been the most annoying thing ever. Please get your pesticide. I am the biggest pest in the community, the flying bird.
Oh, this young bird is too nice. Anyways, yeah, goodbye, guys.